Hi, my name is Taylor Upchurch. This is my persuasive speech on feminism, and here's my audience. This is Sydney and William, and then that's Jennifer, and then that's Tony, and then that's Jesse, and Dylan, and Madison. Okay. So like I said, my speech is on feminism. In the recent years, there's been growing interest in feminism. I'm sure you've seen on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, people are talking about feminism and making these impassioned statements about feminism. Women and men are declaring their hatred or for their passion for it, for this word. So what is feminism? What are they fighting for? What are they fighting against? In this speech, I'm going to tell you what exactly feminism is, what it is not, why and when the feminism movement started, and what our women are fighting for today. In dictionary.com, feminism is defined as the doctrine advocating social, political, and all other rights of women equal to those of men. This means if you agree with the feminist movement, you agree that women should be treated as equals to men. So no special treatment, no discrimination, equals. Gender stereotypes as well as past issues like abortion, inequality in pay, have created a world where men are more powerful than women. Feminism is fighting for women to have the same rights as men. For example, the same rights to the same job, the same rights to drive the same car, the same rights to express their sexuality in the same type of way. Some people believe that when I make these statements, that I'm saying that women should be handed these things, that they should be handed upper level jobs just because men have them, that they should get free handouts or have things made easier for them. And that is not at all what the feminism movement is fighting towards. They're fighting to correct situations, like when both a man and a woman go to the same school, get the same degree, and come out with the same job, somehow the man makes more money than the woman. Another classic example feminism is trying to solve is the belief that when a man has multiple sexual partners, it is an asset. It's valued as an attractive quality, whereas a woman who's had the exact same amount of sexual partners is somehow devalued in this process, and devalued for the same exact actions and life choices that adds value to the man's character. The issue between the salary gap. The issue of the salary gap difference between men and women has been a long-standing hot topic. But it honestly has less to do with sexism and more to do with education and life choices. This shows the most common jobs chosen by both men and women. So you can see up here, these are male-dominated fields. So there's a software developer, project manager, and computer systems administrator. And they make anywhere from $80,000 upwards of $95,000. And then you can see down here, these are common jobs for women. And they are registered nurse, elementary school teacher, and then human resources administrator. And you can see that they definitely don't make as much, and that the HR administrator makes around $45,000, and then the registered nurse makes upward of $60,000. So graphs and statistics like these are what is causing, you can pass that around, right here. The graphs and statistics like these are what is causing most of the argument about difference in pay and inequality. So because in the past women have been forced to choose lower paying jobs and men have had jobs that require more education, therefore pay more, there's become this disparity in income. So this diagram shows the difference between pay for men and women who have the exact same job. They have the same background, same education. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the lines, the dark line represents man and the light line represents females, they're almost the same. So for human resources, there's only a 1% difference. Elementary school teacher, men make 1% more as well. Computer systems administrator, they make 3, men make 3 more percent, and software developer, they make 4 more percent. You guys can pass that around. So 4% difference in annual pay based on absolutely nothing but gender. So 4%. What's the big deal? Why are we fighting about this 4% annual income? And this is the exact type of thing that the feminist movement wants to combat. Discrimination solely based on whether a person's genitalia is on the inside of their body or the outside of their body is unacceptable. You wouldn't give somebody less money just because they have blue eyes or they have brown eyes or they have green eyes. So why do we think it's acceptable to pay people less because out of their control, they were born with a vagina? I mentioned earlier that gender stereotypes were, in my opinion, one of the biggest obstacles for people who are trying to get into feminism to overcome. When we raise children around sayings like, oh, Jimmy, you throw like such a girl, or no, Ashley, you can't play football, or whenever kids look at pictures of the past presidents and they see every single leader of the free world and there's 0 women on there, or when a woman tries to express her opinion and people assume that she's this passionate, she's this adamant about something simply because she's on a period and she's emotional. Scenarios like these are creating a notion of weakness in women, and that fosters in both men and women, and you see those power imbalance play out in normal life. According to gender.net, the first wave of feminism started in the mid-19th century. It was mainly geared towards opposing the chattel marriage. Chattel marriage is when a couple gets married and the woman then becomes the man's property. And any children that they produce become the man's property. Fun fact about chattel marriage, it was actually termed as such because it uses the root word cattle, and which specifies that the wife is personal property like cattle, as opposed to real property like land. During the same time period, during this first wave, another group of women started fighting for their right to vote, and in 1919, they got the 19th Amendment added to the Constitution, which ended the first wave of feminism. The second wave started in the 1950s and focused more on eliminating discrimination and gaining equality rather than suffrage and voting. At this time, women like Betty Friedan were doing some revolutionary thinking when they criticized the popular idea, that women could only find fulfillment in childbearing or homemaking. Betty believed that women could pursue a career, and the idea that all women might not want children was integrated into society. The third wave of feminism came about in the 1990s and is still going strong today. The issues that most of these women during the third wave were having issues with was that most of the views expressed throughout the community of feminism were brought on by upper middle class white women, and so the group began to diversify. They began to add women of color and women from all different walks of life. According to Natalia Casanova, who wrote The History of Feminism, today's biggest struggles are today's feminists, their biggest struggles are fighting against violence against women, family leave policies, which refers to the amount of time of maternity leave a woman is given to actually have a baby and recover. And they're also working on the sex trade and getting women in the political office, the debate over birth control and abortion, and cracking down on the sex trade. They're also working on including all people who identify as women in the women movement. So during this speech, we went over what feminism is, what it is not, and why it started and when it started, and what our feminists are going through today. Throughout the history of feminism, it has been mainly women fighting for women's equality. There is absolutely no reason why the struggle for gender equality should only be fought by women for women. None of us are in a gang, but we're all against gang violence. None of us have ever held one of those cute little fluffy white seals, but we're all against seal clubbing. You don't have to burn bras, hate men, or vote for Hillary Clinton to be a feminist. This movement needs your support. We don't want our future generations thinking a certain race or height or color or gender makes one human better than the next. Thank you. All right, we will now start our critique session, which is going to be held by
Me.
Tony. All right.
Do I?
No, I'm gonna stand behind you and film you. Okay, go ahead.
All right, guys. What a great speech on feminism. So, does anyone have any critiques for Tim? Anyone? What did you do good? What?
I should provide a lot of useful information.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that.
It seemed to give us a very broad scope of how feminism started and where it is today.
Perfect. Perfect. I had the history. I really enjoyed the history portion of it. Anything bad? Good. No bad stuff. All right. Cheers all around.
Okay. Okay.
Well done, Tony.
All right. And now we're going to start the question and answer portion of the speech segment. Okay, so do you guys have any questions for me? Tony, if you could film, point around to them and point to me. Jennifer, yes, in the blue shirt. What is your question?
What is feminism to you? What is this to you?
I think that gender equality is insanely important. I think that you walking down a hallway and you being catcalled, or people thinking that women are like delicate and not capable of things is just wrong. I may be physically smaller than some men, but that doesn't mean that I'm incapable or that I'm less competent at all. So that really grinds my gears. Dylan.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I do consider myself a feminist. I do. All right, next question.
Are there only 3 waves?
Yeah, I think there are only 3 waves of feminism. Because, like I said, the first one started in the 19th century, second one was in the 1950s, and third one started in the 1990s, and we're still kind of progressing into it. I think I read on a source that there was possibly a 4th wave, and it was because of all the social media and because of how that's impacting everything. So, got that going on. Any other questions? Question?
Yes. When you say everyone who identifies with women, what does that mean?
I was talking about now because we have so many of like the transgendered, bisexual people who weren't naturally born as women, that we want to include everybody who identifies as a woman. So transgendered, bisexual, anybody. Yes?
Just a question. I heard a statistic one time that about the rates of money that men make over women. If men had 40% chance more likely of asking for more, do you think that has anything to do with the increase in what men make?
I don't really understand your question at all.
If it were true.
So you're saying if women asked for more?
Yeah.
If women asked for more raises, they would get more raises?
No. I'm saying I heard a statistic that men were more likely to ask for more. Do you think that has anything to do with that, if it were true?
I am just about as confident as any man I've ever met. So if I feel like I deserve a raise, I'm going to ask for a raise. I'm going to ask for more. So I don't know if that's, again, with you thinking that women are not as confident and not as open. I don't exactly know what that has to do with it. Any other questions? Maddie!
Are there any parts of feminism you don't agree with?
Yeah, I don't exactly like how some feminists are like how they just smack you over the head with it, and they're like, oh, if you don't believe in this, then you're stupid, or because it's really a general statement of like, we're trying to promote equality, and everybody wants equality, so why wouldn't you want that? We're not trying to make women better or put down men or burn bras, like I said, so I don't like the people who are really overt and really hate on other people because it's all about love. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Tell me, Tony, what's your question?
You mentioned abortion during your speech. What is the feminist perspective of this?
I like your tone of voice there.
Feminists actually are pro-choice, and so they're not for abortion, they're not against abortion, but because we are women and it is our bodies, it should be our choice, is what they all think.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this segment of Taylor tries to persuade her audience to become feminist. Have a great night.